One of the worst feelings as an anime fan is wanting to talk about one of your favorite shows that you've seen in a season, maybe even of a year, and not really being able to because there's so little discussion surrounding it because most people seemingly aren't watching and talking about it. And I think a show like My Home Hero, which just concluded today with episode 12, is proof on why most production committees, they don't license and fund shows that aren't easy to consume by the masses, because at the end of the day, the masses want something that's familiar. And as much as the anime community likes to make posts and videos about how we want originality in our anime, we don't want the same generic isekai or fantasy show or battle shonen, at the end of the day, no. The masses, at least 90%, want something that's familiar, a story that's very similar to something they've already consumed, which is why the most generic shows of a season can have a decent-sized fan base, but a show like My Home Hero really doesn't. And honestly, I am upset. I'm mad that a show that I truly think is one of the best shows that I've seen this year so far, something that didn't play by the typical trends and tropes, got heavily slept on. And it's a shame, because anyone who likes something wants to be able to talk about it with a bunch of people and have a fun conversation. And a show where you have a father who ends up killing a member of the Yakuza because he's dating his daughter, and daughter isn't understanding what's actually going on, and seriously, she would have died or been beaten, maybe even worse. So he ends up in a almost self-defense sort of move, but murder all things considered, killing, and gets roped into a conspiracy of trying to cover up his tracks. And by the end of it, he has to take a second life, all things considered, and even though it ends on a pretty big cliffhanger of most likely the body gonna be discovered and he's gonna get roped back into it, it's such a satisfying stopping point because rather than turning a man into just a John Wick who's gonna kill people with rice cookers and strangle people to death, he actively felt like a human who was thrown into a situation of wanting to protect his family but feeling guilty every step of the way. And these types of shows, well, does it have Demon Slayer level animation? No. Does it have some pretty stiff animation and derpy character models at times? Of course. But the fact that a show that is so fresh and unique got so heavily slept on, it's disappointing, and it's absolutely why you don't see a lot of these types of shows in any given year, because production committees will play it safe. They'll adapt something that has more in like similarities to Re:Zero or Demon Slayer, or hell, even I Got a Smartphone in Another World, because these stories, they know, will hook people in because they've been proven. A show like My Home Hero, a revenge story that isn't about making your main character edgy, but in fact, I mean, the final fight of this show is two dads. It's an awkward, ugly fight because they're not professional killers. That's not what sells. And it's a shame, man. It honestly is. And this probably isn't what most people thought I would come up here to talk about for my last video of this series, but I've loved this show. I absolutely did. It's one of my personal favorite shows I've watched this year. But it honestly, if anything, I just leave sad that shows like these get so slept on. Sure, some people just, they won't like the story, the subject matter, but it's just, every time I see these posts, and I see them all the time, we want less isekai, we want less fantasy. It's like, well, here we go. But if it doesn't have that constant Sakuga animation, doesn't have that constant hook that just, oh my god, look at the crazy death, people start sleeping on things. And it's a shame. It honestly is, because I think most anime fans want to talk about something that truly hits them on a personal, passionate level, that feels different and new and exciting. But sadly, it's just, that's not what the masses want. That's why we see the same type of Hollywood blockbusters every single week, why we see the same type of anime every single season. So I'm here to say, please, for the love of God, if you want to see 12 episodes of something that's actually damn interesting and unique, go watch My Home Hero. It deserves so much better than it received with the anime community. It's a shame I couldn't talk about it week after week because people just didn't seem to care. But I just wanted to make a quick final thoughts video because I loved it. I thought it was clever. It was fun and different. I thought the way the framing was handled, the husband and wife duo, the wife was an MVP. They ended it in such a fun, satisfying way of burying a body, but then this big storm comes in. Most likely the body's gonna get uncovered. He's gonna get roped back into it. But for a stopping point of a season, it actually works fairly well if you ask me. Though, obviously, we knew the story was gonna continue. And personally, I rarely do it, but I'm gonna go pick up the source material. I want to see where this story goes because this show was really, really good, and I loved watching it. I watched every single episode, and it's a shame a lot of people decide to sleep on it, but that's just what I wanted to say. Final video, final thoughts, just I'm mad people didn't talk about one of my personal favorites, but that's just me. If you did watch My Home Hero with the last episode, any of the episodes, let me know what you thought of it, because I'd love to talk about this one if anyone actually wants to talk about it with me. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new around here, ring that bell so you can get notified when I upload more videos on the channel, and hey, I have a Patreon where I have live reactions to all 12 episodes available if you're interested in seeing that, so consider supporting if you so wish. So until next time everyone, please take care and have a good one.